So let's get back into it, Natalie. So you've got a title commitment. You have a mineral exception, and then what?
So, at that juncture, the good and right thing to do, like what I would like for my clients to do is the minute that they get their title commitment in, if they haven't already authorized us to run the mineral title, then I would like for them to stop and let's look at that title commitment together and let's get in front of that and address those things, address those minerals head on. Because what happens otherwise is there's a lot of people involved in these projects. You've got all your electrical engineers, you've got your project developers, you've got your site people who are planning site construction. There's a lot of effort going on while these title commitments are being issued. A lot of money and good time with great minds spent to plan. And if we can get in front of that and know that, hey, this is going to be good for minerals, or this is going to be an absolute nightmare for you. If it's an absolute nightmare, you've just saved tons of people in your company's time and energy,
Yeah,
right?
and money.
By being able to look, yes, time is money. And that's really what we're trying to do. I've seen companies uh, waste a lot of time on stuff that and a lot of people's efforts on things that aren't going to work out because of the situation that they have with the minerals and the complicated surface waivers underneath.
Yeah. So we can dive into that a little bit. And again, just talking about basic things that happen. Um, it's very common for the mineral tracks to have a different configuration than the surface tracks that you've secured your option or your solar agreement or battery storage or wind agreement on. And so talking about some of the things you can expect and how you can maybe navigate challenges on the mineral title. So say you've gone through your acquisition, you're under an option agreement, you've ordered your title commitment, and say you followed Natalie's advice and are very proactive about getting a mineral clearance, a mineral ownership report done. Some things that request to your landman should be very specific in the sense of you should let them know the outer confines of your area that you want them to examine. You should make sure that not only are they giving you an ownership report, but they're giving you access to all the documents in that chain of title. Um, and that comes into play when you get on down the road to underwriting. But those are some basic things. You need an ownership report of the minerals. That's on a mineral tract basis. We see it a lot of times that people will tell their land broker to only run the minerals as to the surface confines of this parcel. And you try to get mineral ownership reports that just fit the surface parcel. We encourage to turn in reports that are on a mineral tract basis. And the importance of that is you need to understand, say if you've got 1,000-acre option area, you may have 6 mineral tracts that underlie that 1,000-acre parcel, and they may be in different configurations. One mineral tract may be much less complex and busted up than one of the other parcels. So what you end up with is you have ownership reports that cover all the specific mineral tract outlines, some of which may be provide a path of least resistance to getting waivers than others. So when you get that ownership report in, you want to have a map. You want to have everything that you can overlay with your surface agreements and help you maybe make decisions on where you want to pursue options. It's very common in the work that we do that we turn in mineral ownership reports and then sit down with the client and say, okay, hey, you've got 40 mineral owners and a HBP oil and gas lease or held by production oil and gas lease on the east half of this project, but on the west half, you've got 500 acres of clean. It's by 2 mineral owners. It's not under an oil and gas lease. We have a very high probability of being able to secure the waivers of the surface use on this west half of this project, and we can get that done very quickly. And you have an actual insurable project as it pertains to this west half of the effort. And that's kind of where it all really comes together. The mineral title is really all about de-risking and insurability. You can't construct your project unless you're insurable. We've had other podcasts where we've introduced Dudley Select Title and the work that we do there and why we formed that company to kind of bring this process together, bring the mineral review and the surface underwriting, the title insurance part of it together, because you really have to look at that mineral review holistically, right? How it fits into the constructability of your project. So kind of went down a little bit of a wormhole there, but it's just a complicated thing. You need to understand that your minerals, how they lay out and how they fall in the place, are going to shape maybe the path that ultimately you construct. So then you're factoring in minerals, you're factoring in environmental stuff. It's a complicated process, but it's really about information. The sooner you know that information, that's why Natalie emphasizes to do that mineral title work early on as possible, because it just gives you more information to ultimately try to drill down to what's constructible.
It's about making good business decisions. And you can't make good business decisions unless you understand the entire picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we really want to do is let's eliminate all the when we're looking at something holistically, you might be looking at the wetlands and floodplains, you're looking at capacity, you're looking at where you're going to tie into the various substations or lines, but you also need to look at your ownership. You have to look at your ownership. Brent mentioned earlier, there could be some of these, especially depending on, and it is different all across the country, and I'll get to that in a minute. But specifically in some of the oil and gas producing states, we know that some of these folks are oil and gas producers are harder to get shared use agreements out of than others. So if our clients will look more to us as a guide, helping them along the process and making sure that we're helping protect them from all of some of these different scenarios, then we can quickly tell them, hey, look, we haven't been able to ever secure a surface use agreement out of these people, or hey, these people over here really will work great with renewable energy companies. And we can sort of push them in the right direction so that they can get to where they need to be quicker uh, and not waste time and money.